Welcome back. Today I was all keyed up to do a rapid game here on camera, but I've been informed that I'm on call. I have to be ready to leave at any second just in case, so on the off chance that happens, I'm not going to start a rapid game. I am going to solve some puzzles. I had to change my plans at the last minute, but the last few weeks have not been conducive to me consistently studying or learning or practicing chess. Hopefully I'll be able to focus on these puzzles. I am in the 2400 range right now. Material count looks close to even. We've got a bunch of pawns locked up over here. How much danger am I in? I'm in a lot of danger if I don't do something quickly. I guess let's go with the checklist. Do I have any checks? No, I don't. Do I have any captures? I can take that knight, but I think that's a bad move because they'll checkmate me down here. Well, can I stop checkmate? I mean, I can castle, but castling has almost never been the first move, maybe never been the first move of a puzzle. My bishop's in danger. I could take back, but then again, they would have checkmate, so I have to do something. But if I bring my queen up to here, I think they would take it with the knight, so that's not a good idea. I could block the bishop from pointing here by moving this pawn forward, but then when they checked here, I wouldn't want to take with the queen. I would have to move out of check. Wow, okay. This one's something else, isn't it? I can't move the pawn because it's pinned. If I move this pawn, then that undefends this square. I could defend this square by moving my queen, but not here, because then they'll get the bishop and fork my queen and rook, and not here because they'll take my queen immediately. What about moving my... No, that's also not good because they would take my queen immediately with jack. Okay, so I can't guard this square that in any way I can figure out other than castling. Did it give me a castling puzzle because of all the times that I said castling's never the answer to a puzzle? That it's beginning to look like the only possible solution. What do they play if I castle? Back to that. I don't think they'll check me because I'll just pick it off, and yes, they would damage my pawn structure, but then their queen is gone and I'm up a piece. Actually, this bishop's hanging either way, so I'm not up a piece. I'm down a piece. Okay, I might need to start over my checklist again. One way out of checkmate is castling. What's wrong with castling is that they take this bishop immediately and I'm down a piece. Okay, well, I might fail this puzzle, but it does look like the only move that I figured out how to, keep myself from being checkmated. I lose the bishop for a pawn. And yes, I will take back, but then they have any number of places they can put that knight and still be up a full piece for a pawn. Okay, well, let's say I had 2 turns in a row. I've heard a couple of people on YouTube who are better at chess than me say to help visualize puzzles to think, well, like, what if you had 2 turns in a row? And if I had 2 turns in a row, I think I would castle and then save this bishop, because then I wouldn't be in danger of being checkmated anymore, and I wouldn't be in danger of losing a piece anymore. But obviously we don't have 2 turns in a row, but sometimes that helps you to think about, what needs to happen. And what needs to happen is I need to stop checkmate and save this bishop at the same time. That's the only place it can go. But if I do that, obviously I get checkmated. And if I don't do that, I lose the bishop. And if I do anything else, I get checkmated. Because they just go back and then I'm in check again and I would have to sacrifice the bishop for it. Wait, earlier I said this was the only place I could move the bishop, but I can move the bishop there. That saves the bishop and protects against checkmate. But they're just going to take it. It's going to be an even trade though, so that can't be like the move. I mean, that's better than what I came up with before. I don't know if it matters which pawn they would take back with. Or maybe I go after the bishop at that point. Good grief. It's been over 10 minutes on my end, pre-editing. I'm going to take the knight. Oh, they took back with the e-pawn. All right. Now what do I do? Oh, no, sorry. I have to stop checkmate. I still have to stop checkmate. Because the bishop was what was stopping checkmate, but the bishop's not there anymore, so... But I can stop checkmate by just moving this queen up to any of these squares. Or I can stop checkmate by going after the bishop, which can't run away. Okay, I'm going after the bishop. Oh, what? Sorry, that I'm trying to figure out why an opponent would do that, but very often the puzzle's response is the best move for the opponent. Is it because if they went here, I was going to get the bishop anyway? Now they're giving the bishop a room to run, even though I can take it? And I'm still going to mess up my pawns here, but I'm going to be a piece ahead now. Oh my. Well, it's no surprise that puzzle was rated 2500 and it only has a 44% pass rate. Oh, you can't see the pass rate here, but it says 44.7%. Themes were Knight Outpost, which I guess that counts as a Knight Outpost. Trapped Piece. The bishop was the trapped piece, but I had to stop checkmate first. And Vulnerable King. Yeah, my king was pretty vulnerable. Okay, the themes weren't necessarily wrong on this one. If I'm going to get anything done, I have to keep going. Next. Oh my. Endgame puzzle. I have 3 pawns, and they have 3 pawns. I'm the only one technically with a passed pawn, but I'm pretty sure the answer is not to push it because they'll go take it. So do I go to protect it? Which reminds me, I still need to come up with a new checklist for endgame puzzles like this, because obviously the normal checklist doesn't apply. I don't have any checks or captures, and I very often don't in these endgame puzzles. So I need to come up with some sort of checklist instead of just trying to calculate every single possible move, which is what I've been doing I only have 4 things that can move on the board. All 4 of those can move. And that's the only one I thought of because obviously I have a passed pawn. So something on my new checklist should be about passed pawns, like who has a passed pawn, or, how many passed pawns are there? Who do they belong to? That kind of thing. And then, can I win a pawn race? How do I protect my passed pawn to, guard it on its way down? That kind of thing. But what I've been doing in the past is just a process of elimination. Does it help anything to move this pawn 1 or 2 squares, the A pawn? I don't think it helps anything to move it 1 square. I think they would just put this pawn here, and if I took it, they would take back, and then they have a passed pawn. I don't think it helps to move it 2 squares because they have a passed pawn, whether they go past it or take it. But so it doesn't make sense to move my A pawn, at least for me. And I don't think it makes sense to move my H pawn because it can't go anywhere. And as discussed, I can't get my king through there because their pawn is guarding that square. So I can't get rid of that pawn without first going around my pawns. And if I move this pawn, so I don't think they'll go that way. I think they have to move their king to try to get in front of it. But no, let's see. If I move forward, they can get right next to it. We already talked about that. That's why I came up with moving the king. Okay. And from here, all 4 of those squares, 5 of those squares would be defended by my opponent via their pawns and king. So I think it has to be king to f4 because nothing else makes sense. That's what I'm going to play. Okay, well, something else made sense then. I just didn't see it. Analysis board. Okay, now this is unusual in that white was ahead even before the opponent made the move. Very often it's even or the opponent has an advantage until the opponent's first move. But here, white's already up +4. Black plays here, and I'm still up +4. Yeah, it was +4 no matter what they did. It says A4 or B4 is actually their best move here. But taking that pawn leaves them at about +4. Actually, it's closer to +5 now. And my best move was here. Well, why wouldn't they go take it? I don't understand. Of course they would. King to E. Well, it says king to D6, but I have no idea why anyone would play that. Anybody I've ever played would play this. And then my only move would be king to D4. Oh, because their king went back, it's not guarding those pawns anymore. So I'm giving up this pawn to get to those 2. So A4 or B4 equal. Okay, well, let's say they played this one. Then I would go here. And they would play here, and I would take this pawn. Then they would take this pawn. And I would go after this one. And they would have to come forward that one. And my best move is actually H5. But they're even. I could also take here or play H5. Okay, well, I would probably take here. It says their best move is king to E5. That's what it says. But I'm pretty sure everybody I've played would have gone here. Then I would get out of the way of my pawn. And it says their best move is king to F5, not to take this pawn. But I'm pretty sure everybody I've ever played would take this pawn. And my best move is not to move my pawn, it is to play king to C5. All right, well, I don't understand this one at all. I thought following these lines out would help, but it did not. But now I know I was supposed to push this pawn, and they were going to get next to it, and I had to go here, right? It was king to D4. And they were going to take that pawn. Oh, because, yeah, on Stockfish, it said they would have played one of these, not take the pawn. So obviously I have to go to C5 because, again, as discussed, they are guarding all those squares. Oh, okay. Well, I've got to go there, don't I? To B5? And then take on A5? That's how the puzzle would have gone. Okay, well, let's go back to the analysis board. Okay, they played here. I'm up plus 4.2 now. It was 4.8 a minute ago. All right, so I go here. They're going to go toward it. I'm going to go here. And in the puzzle they take here, and now that is listed. I'm pretty sure when we first looked at this, it said they would move one of those pawns. But now it says king to D6 or taking the pawn. Probably take the pawn. Okay, I figured that out. And they played B4, which is one of those 2 moves. Now I have to play B5. And in the puzzle, they did not play king to E5 or G6. They played king to E6, which is here. I took this. And that was the end of the puzzle. Okay, well, that one only has a 31% pass rate. And that's not everybody on chess.com. That's of the people who get 2400 rated puzzles, which I assume is people, with a puzzle rating over 2000. So I don't feel so bad. I mean, I've spent 23 minutes total today, so I do feel kind of bad about that. But I was wrong that I need to protect that pawn. I need to use this pawn as a decoy that they're forced to chase. Okay, they're forced to chase it, which my problem with getting to those pawns was that their king was going to be here, but now it's not. So I can go to D5 and C5. Sorry, D4 and C5, and then B5, then A5. Okay. Well, I think right after I failed this, I saw the score there, and I think I dropped below 2400. So I really don't have time at this rate to do another puzzle, but I need to get back above 2400 for my ego's sake. Hopefully that'll happen instead of me going down further, but I might go down further. Oh yeah, 2398. Okay. Playing with the white pieces. Well, let's look at checks first. I do have this check. Wait, is it doing the thing where it gives me an easier one because I just failed a puzzle? Is this going to be like a 1500 rated puzzle? This looks really cut and dried. I check here. They have to go one way or the other, and then I win this night. That seems easy. Well, in the interest of saving time, I'm just going to play that. Oh, it was that. Well, now it's got to be this, doesn't it? And then I don't know what I would play. But it's got to be taking the knight. That's the whole reason I checked there. Oh, they did move over, and it's still going. I did not think it would still be going. I can check here, but then they can come back. That's not good. I can check here on C7. They can't come back this way, so they'd have to go the other way. But then what do I do? Wait, I can't fork them or anything, can I? No, that'd be cool. But I'd need to be able to be on both of those squares. Well, those first two moves seemed really, really easy to me, but this part does not. All right, I'm almost at 30 minutes. I'm going to check them here, and looks like I'm going to fail 2 puzzles in a row. I did. Okay. All right, well, let's see what the answer was. Like I said, the first 2 moves seemed really easy to me. Okay, now this one was drawn until they played here, but then this part looked easy. Go there, they get out of check, I take the knight. But now they only have the 1 legal move, as we discussed. Was checking here, and it says they would not come closer. Oh, they wouldn't come closer because of that. Oh my. Okay, so I check here. They would go to B7. Yeah, they definitely wouldn't go to D7 because I would check here and win their rook. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Okay, so they would go to B7 and then I would fork them. Nice. That one also has a very low pass rate, 33.8%. Well, that was disappointing. I do appreciate you spending your time here, and I appreciate those of you who leave comments on my videos and, just watch and subscribe in general. Thank you. I'll see you next time.